Welcome to Open Your Reality. Who are the Anunnaki? The True History of Planet Earth, Part 1. So why are the Anunnaki so important to knowing the true history of our species? The answer lies in some obscure Sumerian tablets that were written 5,000 to 6,000 years ago. These tablets and other evidence suggest that something strange was happening on the planet for a long time that can't be explained by conventional science. And as much as scientists today want to ignore the evidence, it's there for all who want to research it. I certainly have, and now I want to present to you the true history of our planet, which if you don't know about is going to be a total shocker. For certain, many archaeologists are baffled at what caused the dramatic evolutionary discontinuities 35,000 and 5,000 years ago. Part of that answer lies in the interpretation recorded on clay tablets found in many ancient cultures, such as Sumer, Acadia, and Mesopotamia. Zecharia Sitchin's Earth Chronicles series and Michael Tellinger's wonderful book, Slave Species of God, tells of a species of extraterrestrial called the Annunaki, who came to Earth approximately 450,000 years ago. Now, I am aware there is a lot of skepticism of Sitchin's claims, and some of you have brought this up as well in the comments section. I understand that some debunkers have said Sitchin misinterpreted the tablets, or even blatantly lied about the information on them. Even still, if you look into the history and artifacts of these ancient civilizations, you can clearly see something extraordinary was going on. I pose the following questions to you to show where there's smoke, there's fire. How could the Great Pyramids be built by such primitive people? How did the ancient civilizations have knowledge of the star system thousands of years before telescopes were invented? Why have artifacts been found that are tens of thousands of years old, like batteries, that could not have possibly been made until the near 20th century? Why such rapid advancements in science, technology, and math during the height of the Sumer civilization? And why are spacecrafts and spacemen depicted in the art of these ancient civilizations? I would really like to know. And finally, why are there so many stories and talks of gods from the people of those times? The answer to the last question is clear-cut to me. It was because these Anunnaki were off-world beings merely posing as gods. When the Anunnaki discovered Earth, they chose the land of Sumer as their base. This is largely because of the abundant water, oil, and temperate climate there. Keep in mind, an ice age was just ending. The Anunnaki needed the gold to diffuse into the thinning atmosphere of their own planet to protect against radiation and retain their planet's heat. This could be the chief reason why gold is so valuable and still is today. The ancient Sumerian clay tablets record that the Anunnaki's home planet Nibiru makes a large elliptical orbit round our sun and comes in close for a 200-year period every 3,670 years, a period they call a Shar. There were three main periods of time in the advancement of civilization: 11,000 BC, 7,400 BC, and 3,800 BC, all of which coincide with Nibiru's entry into our solar system. These periods of time saw mankind go from nomadic hunter-gatherers to highly sophisticated cultures with courts, libraries, and universities. These ancient cultures attribute all of their advancements to a pantheon of gods that formed an extended family, headed by a dynastic leader named Anu. That's why they're called the Anunnaki. However, the Sumerians called them Nephilim, gods who from heaven came to earth, and Elohim, shining ones, terms that would one day make it into the Old Testament. The Sumerian legend says that the ET contingent was led by a scientist named Enki, who was later backed up by a military commander named Enlil, both sons of Anu, the Nibirian ruler. A team of workers from this alien race came to Earth and set up a lab to extract gold from the Persian Gulf waters. However, the yield was too low, so they resorted to mining in what is now South Africa. I've read information on the net that the oldest gold mines date back to over 100,000 years BC. This would coincide with our story that only the Anunnaki, an advanced alien race, could have possessed the technology or even the need to extract gold so long ago. On the next pass of Nibiru, 300 alien miners were assigned to work round the clock. Mining was hard, tedious work, even with their advanced technology, and after 40 Nibiru orbits, or 144,000 Earth years, the Anunnaki workers rebelled, taking Enlil hostage. Anu arrived to resolve the situation, and Enki suggested engineering some primitive workers, which he and their chief medical officer set out to create. They used male Anunnaki DNA to fertilize the eggs of female terrestrial primates, basically humanoids, and placed the fertilized embryos in Anunnaki females for gestation. They called them birth goddesses. After much experimentation, Enki created primitive workers, known as the black-headed people. They were intelligent enough to toil in the mines, but not so intelligent that they presented discipline problems. Some of the workers were also sent back to the ET headquarters in Mesopotamia. Spanning countless millennia, the tablets paint a bleak picture of the lives of these slave animals. These beings had hive souls, group memories, and no mental bodies. In the beginning, the hybrids were sterile, as with the mule, a cross between a donkey and a horse, and the Anunnaki females mutinied, tired of being pregnant all the time. So Enki managed to produce fertile hybrids that quickly proliferated. Of course, some escaped, and bands of them began roaming the planet. Between 200,000 and 100,000 BC, the planet underwent an ice age, which killed many off. Enki kept experimenting, and 35,000 years ago came up with a more intelligent worker, our direct ancestors, Cro-Magnon man. The tablets tell of how he enhanced the human body to give it dramatically greater mental powers. Meanwhile, we on the soul plane worked to improve the human body's soul-carrying ability, which allowed us as souls to incarnate into those physical bodies. Keep in mind, few species have nervous systems that are complex enough to support fully interactive incarnation. More powerful minds allowed for language, which helped us cooperate with each other in the mining of gold and other work. At some point, the Neanderthals were either killed off or allowed to die off, and that evolutionary branch was closed. The Anunnaki also built into the human DNA an aging mechanism called replicative failure to ensure progressive degradation of the human body's cells. Scientists today call this cellular senescence. To humanoids of the time, this made the Anunnaki practically immortal, since they could supposedly live for thousands of years. Eventually, the ancient legends tell us the population of human beings became so numerous and troublesome that Enlil began to regret making them so advanced. At the end of the last ice age, during the Nibiru visit in 10,800 BC, he noticed that the proximity of their huge planet to Earth would cause the Antarctic ice shelf to break off, crash into the ocean, and create a huge planet-wide tsunami. Seeing a way to finally purge the Earth of its pesky humans, he intended to allow it. Enki, on the other hand, was more sympathetic to his genetic creations, and informed them of the coming catastrophe, which allowed some of his humans to escape to high ground in boats, carrying the DNA of each animal species with them. This, of course, is the legend of Noah's Ark, and some speculate it wasn't an ark but actually a spaceship. When the ice shelf did finally break off, the resulting tsunami funneled up the Persian Gulf, wiping out much of life in the Middle East. This gave birth to the legends of the Great Flood that are found in every ancient body of knowledge on the planet. The ETs, of course, watched the disaster from the safety of their spacecraft. According to some sources, Enki had two sons, Ra and Thoth. Ra the elder was put in charge of Chem, as Egypt was known back then, and was worshipped by the Egyptian humans as the sun god. Being the more intellectual brother, Thoth was a scientist, scribe, and architect, and among other things designed and built the Giza pyramids, about 10,800 BC, to reflect their ancient home constellation of Orion. This concludes part 1 of Who Are the Anunnaki? The True History of Life on Planet Earth. Part 2 should be out in a couple of days. However, if you're watching this video 2 days after it was released and beyond, the second part is already out, so just click here to see it. It'll also be on the end screen. Just want to let you know I broke this video into 2 parts because most people won't tune in for a 20+ minute video. I hope you don't mind. So watch part 2 for the exciting conclusion. Thank you to everyone who has been commenting and supporting me on Patreon. You have my deep felt gratitude. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and consider subscribing. I'll see all of you in part 2.